succumb to a third consecutive defeat, this time at the hands of Tottenham. First time that we've experienced three consecutive league defeats since New Year's Day over 6 months ago. Sam is with me, and how are you feeling, Sam? Bit deflated after that, because unlike last week, I mean, we were here this time last week on the back of a 5-0 thrashing at Man City. We were never expecting any miracles, and the exact opposite is how it turned out to be. But today, it just feels like the stuffing's been taken out of us from that defeat.
Yeah, strange one. Because I don't think we played bad today at all. The scoreline is very, very, very easy on Tottenham. Very flattering to Tottenham indeed. I thought we were good for a point. In all honesty, there are a couple of players that didn't cover themselves in a lot of glory, but on the whole, I thought going forward we looked good. It was just we were lacking that real cutting edge up the top, which is no surprise. But it is what it is. It is deflating more than really, really angry.
Yeah. We're not angry. We're just frustrated. And so, yes, coming up tonight on the Fan Reaction Show, we are on live on YouTube for the next hour, and during which time we want to get you involved. So wherever the link is, probably in the comments or the description below, click on that if you want to get involved. Simply follow the instructions. You will come into the backstage area, and if we have time, Sam will let you in. So yes, we want to hear your thoughts. Keep your comments coming in like they are right now. Kevin Scott, this game can be summed up with the fact that we simply didn't play with a striker. We had attacking players who didn't get into the box, so no striker. I think that might be a little too harsh on Dwight Gale. He did come close to scoring at the end of the first half, didn't he, with that header? But other than that, he just seems to be a bit typical Dwight Gale in the Premier League, whether that's a combination of lack of service or maybe just Dwight Gale. It might just be the Premier League is just not his level. But one stat from today is that Matt Ritchie's goal was scored with the left foot, and that is the first time since my records began dating all the way back to August 1993 that we've scored 5 consecutive goals with the left foot. That might be one little.
And you've managed to wait less than 2 minutes of being on air before you told us that.
And speaking of being on air, Sam, who is coming on to join us first?
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people waiting already. So tell you what, Rob, let's mix it up a bit. 5 now. One's gone. Didn't like being number 6, okay. Obviously. Let's mix it up a little bit. Pick a number between 1 and 5.
2.
2. Let's welcome PD Proudlock on 2.
No, 3. 3. No. Peter, hello. I was just saying it would be really nice to see more of you these days. Anyway, yeah, joking aside, how are you, Peter?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. I'm a bit frustrated after the result. I thought attacking wise, it was really good. The way we attacked, pressed, went forward, defending. Shambolic.
Local hero, though, saying staff attack. Thank you very much. That is Jose Mourinho's first league win at St James's Park. I don't know about you, but I really liked saying, Mourinho, he's not won at St James's Park. I really liked saying that. So how does it feel that jinx for him has finally come to an end?
Oh, again, it's just frustrating. And a win was definitely going to come at some point, I thought. But yeah, it's just the scoreline definitely frustrates us tonight, for sure.
And one talking point for sure is that Fabian Schär, of course, today he was brought in mainly because of injuries elsewhere in that centre-back partnership. Of course, we had to play crap in the centre-back role, which certainly wasn't suitable. What do you think of Cher's performance tonight, and do you think he has much of a future going forward into next season?
It's not bad, but not great. I would say he was giving the ball away a few times, and
led to the first goal, of course.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's a tough one. That where he's still got a future.
It might just be the an off season. Some players have.
He's not been at his best, but it does look worrying him going off with that shoulder injury by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, who would, assuming Lascelles will be injured for the game at the weekend, what other options who do you think Bruce will resort to in centre back for that game against Brighton?
Possibly
who's not injured, basically, because the injury list is constantly growing at the moment. It's just not an ideal situation. Wouldn't surprise me if Bentaleb was probably brought into as a makeshift centre back. Possible. That is possible. But speaking of that game, Proudlock, what are your predictions for that game?
I went for a 2-2 draw into the game. I thought it was a chance to show some fight, particularly after the two dismal games. But again, it was more down to the defending that's lost us all 3 games.
Oh, your prediction for the Brighton game at the weekend?
Prediction for the Brighton game, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a 1-0 victory.
I like that. It will be our first win at Brighton since end of February 2017 when Jose Perez scored that late winner. But yes, thank you very much for coming on. It's a pleasure as always to have you on the channel, and have a nice night.
Cheers very much, lads.
Thanks very much. So those were the thoughts of PD Proudlock. Brighton away, that centre-back position, Sam, it's just looking more and more less ideal.
We need Lascelles back, and we need him back quickly. I mean, Federico Fernandez must be absolutely knackered. He's still played every minute of every game so far, and my God, do we need him. Another solid display tonight. Unfortunately, those who were around him didn't show similar capabilities. Kraft might be persevering at centre-back again in a 4-2-3-1 at Brighton. Hopefully not, because it's shown against decent opposition. He's not a centre-half. Got out-muscled for the Kane's first goal, and Lamela ran rings round him for the one at the end, which we got caught on the counter-attack, because it was nice to see us try and win the game, but that's by the by.
And one thing that was confirmed today, with failure to win today, was that our chances of qualifying for Europe are now zilch. I know they were next to zilch going into today. Europe was never really on the cards, but today definitely confirmed that Europe is mathematically impossible to reach. Michael Person says that we need this takeover to happen now. Pacey, Ethan, go back to the other one. We dominated them.
We did.
It's so difficult. Yeah, because I think ASM was terrific. I think
best player.
I don't know about you, Sam, but ASM wasn't that massively productive compared to other games, mainly because as soon as he received the ball, he kept on getting on the receiving end of some dirty tackles, some little kickouts there.
Yeah, but that's what he's going to have to deal with. People know about him now. I've said this the last couple of times. There's no secret about him anymore, and people know all about him. They know his quality. They know what he can bring to a game, and they know how dangerous he is. So he's going to be receiving some pretty close attention off defenders. But I thought he was the best player on the pitch this evening. I thought he was absolutely superb. I thought him and Miggy looked really sharp. I haven't seen my reaction. I actually forgot I was on camera for that bit, so I don't know how bad I look for there, but I'll take your word for it.
Yes, Sam, myself, Lee as well, Owen as well, part of our group that was on the BT Sport fan wall. So I haven't seen the reaction to my goal yet. But yes, Sam, who have we got coming on next as you take us at 12 matches?
Right, let's go for Jake. He's a regular on. He's been waiting the longest as well. So let's bring on Jake.
Hi guys.
Hi Jake, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, decent.
No.
How do you feel about that rather difficult defeat to take?
I missed the first 20 minutes, but I heard we dominated them in the first half. But when I got back, they looked very shaky at the back, but so did we.
Hmm.
So it was just
Fabian Schär. Sorry, go on.
attack versus attack, basically.
Jonathan Edmondson saying we should have been 2-0 up, overall too many defensive errors. And that's a good place to bring in Fabian Schär. Jake, what are your thoughts on how his season has been? Would you like to see him in a Newcastle shirt next season?
He's probably just having like an off half season or something, but he is really disappointing at the moment. Like, horrible.
Yeah.
Too many mistakes.
Yeah, you don't get that many ball-playing centre-backs that are not afraid to storm forward like we saw him last season. And it just seems to be a case of he's been found out now. What do you make of Matt Ritchie starting in that left-back position or left-wing back? Because I personally would have preferred to have seen Danny Rose in there, but then at the time when I wrote those notes, a few minutes later, he went and scored that thunder bastard of a shot. So, what do you think of Ritchie? Do you think he's worth keeping in that left back position?
He did very well, but whenever he was receiving the ball, he was, instead of going forward straight away, he was just turning back and then passing back to Fernandes, which was quite annoying.
I guess. Would you much prefer to see him in his more natural right wing place?
If we play the formation that we did today, I'd have him a bit further and then have Danny Rose as the left, because I'd like to see Lazard.
Yeah. And who would you take out if you want to keep Ritchie in and bring Rose in? Who would you take out?
Almiron. I don't think he did well today.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Probably our biggest, our top scorer this season. It's that is a bit of a controversial one.
Either or play Shelby and Almiron deeper. Bentaleb out.
Almiron deep.
Yes, now you're talking.
You're trying to dig yourself out of a hole there, Jake. So I guess we'll move on to what do you think your prediction? What are your predictions for Brighton and Hove Albion away at the weekend?
Not confident. If we play Joelinton 4-0. If we play with Gale, we'll probably lose 2-1 or 1-0 scrappy win.
Okay.
This Joelinton came on, he was terrible.
Didn't have much time to have an effect on the game, but yeah, thank you very much, Jake. Thank you for coming on, one of our regulars, and hope you have a nice night.
You too. Bye.
Bye now. And so, yes, Joelinton, I noticed one of the comments there, Yedlin is done at our club, and that is definitely worth a discussion there.
I'm going to pick you up on a couple of points, Spirrell.
Yes, go for it.
Rose couldn't play because he's ineligible against Tottenham because he's on loan. And Joelinton came on in the 68th minute. He had over 20 minutes in the game and did zip all.
That's not much time. 22 minutes isn't much time.
It's plenty for a substitute. That's plenty. Considering Matty comes on at the 85th minute and does nothing again. And I do want to talk about Matty Longstaff at some point today. I was not happy.
Why not now? I mean,
well, why not? Why not? It's almost like this has been pre-prepared. So Steve Bruce, look at this, pre-prepared. Steve Bruce said in his pre-match presser yesterday, I gave the kid his debut. We had a severe thigh injury when he came back. In that respect, I've treated him the way he should be, which is very uncharacteristic of Bruce, given the way he manages his squad. We saw that with Florian Lejeune and indeed ASM. We think a lot of Matty, the ball's in his court now. Another interesting point, Steve Bruce said, from yesterday's presser. And this one is really, really eye-widening. I've got people who are committed to the club, and just yet Matty hasn't committed himself. It's been going on, in my opinion, far, far too long. I think we all agree with that one, and it might have affected the boy. Now, don't tell me he's not in the side because Steve Bruce is looking after him and he's managing his injury and nursing him back to full fitness. He's out the side because he hasn't signed a contract, simple as. And it's silly because you play players like Nabil Bentaleb, who is absolutely freaking useless. And I never want to see him in a Newcastle shirt again, still, because he was still misplacing passes today. And he was still finding the wrong man. And Lucas Moura was running rings around him before Moura went off. I think Moura picked up a knock.
Oh, yeah.
But Lucas Moura ran rings around him the first half. And that was Spurs' only real outlet. That was it, because we dominated. And yet Matt is sat there on the bench in a system that would have suited him down to the ground in that midfield two alongside John Joe, twiddling his thumbs yet again. And there's only one way he's going, and that's out the door.
Interesting. So I guess that is where we will start with our next guest. So who is coming on, Sam?
Right, we will have Lawrence, and then followed by Callum, Daniel, Lulu, and James. I wonder if I'm looking forward
Lulu.
to James.
Boom, bang, a bang.
He's all exactly. So let's bring on Lawrence now.
Hey.
Hello, Lawrence, aka Colaccini, and I see you've had a haircut since the last time we spoke.
Yep.
So we can't call you Colaccini then, unfortunately. Matty Longstaff, Lawrence, where do you stand with him? Because Bruce has said that he wants committed players to the club. Matty hasn't yet committed with signing that contract. But then, of course, he's miles better than Nabil Bentaleb. So where do you stand on the Matty Longstaff situation?
Well, if he's going to leave, I think it's more likely because he's not getting the game time that he wants. And to be fair, he does have a point, although I think the contract we're offering him, I'd say it's a good one for, someone of his experience because, we've got to remember, he has shown potential, but at the same time, the potential might never be fulfilled. What was I going to say? I don't believe, and I've said all along, I don't believe Udinese are offering 30 grand when the highest earner's on 25 grand. He's still on 300.
There'll be something going on with Watford there. There'll be something going on in the background with Watford if that's a true transfer to Udinese. There's got to be.
Well, so something certainly smells fishy on that front, and I'm not talking about the Trout. But yeah, carry on, Lawrence. No.
Well, you kind of say that, but the only way I can see them offering 30 grand is if the loan to Watford, and eventually he goes to Watford without ever playing for Udinese, because they could go 5-year contract, but how many times are they going to keep loaning him out? And therefore saying, oh, well, we don't have to pay as much of his wages. That's kind of why I don't believe in the 30 grand a week offer, but him going to like another Premier League side, oh, man. I mean,
we've seen it all before. Sorry, go on.
I do feel that there's potentially 4 possibilities. All right, he might be waiting on a takeover, and he'd either say, I want to be part of this, or he might be like, no, I'm not going to get game time, I'm off. Or he might see the takeover collapse and think, well, what was I going to say? Oh, man.
That's okay.
Well, you know what? I might get some game time here. I'll stay, or he might just not want to be a part of it if it falls through. But I do think if 20 grand's there, for me, I think you should take it. I know there's going to be comments about, us offering Henri Servette this wage, Jack Kovac that wage in the past, Lazar another one. I'm like, well, what kind of changed the past? I mean, all we can do is wait potentially 6 months and just terminate the contract. like 6 months before the contract ends, like we did with Key in January, or we're just gonna have to keep a hold of them, just get rid of them whenever it runs out.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned Jack
unless we are
Colback,
lucky enough for somebody to actually take them off our hands.
Now, of course, Jack Colback has been earning a lot more than Matty has recently. And what must Matty be thinking? Because, of course, it must be completely easy to just transfer. It should just be easy as transfer the wages over what we would have had with Colback, if that makes sense. But there was a comment there just a few moments ago saying Gaza was sold to Spurs, Waddle was sold to Spurs, Ginola was sold to Spurs, Sissoko not that much of a bigness compared to the other three, sold to Spurs. Matty, is he good enough to try and break into the Spurs first team, do you think, Lauren?
I don't think he gets in the first team, to be honest. I think if he was there at Spurs,
there ahead of Harry Winks.
I'm not sure.
I do not rate Harry Winks in the slightest. He's incredibly overrated in my opinion. But anyway, Lawrence, we'll finish on. What are your predictions for the Brighton game at the weekend?
Well, I don't really like doing. I much prefer doing predictions after Steve Bruce has done his press conference. So I'll probably give you a final prediction on Friday. But I'm thinking I might go for a draw for this game, just a dull game between two sides with absolutely nothing to play for.
So I only give predictions after the presser. I don't like doing predictions beforehand, but I'll give you a prediction anyway. But thank you very much, Lawrence. Thank you for joining us.
I'll let you know my actual prediction for the game when you do your preview.
Okay, fair enough.
See you guys.
Lee, cancel me out of the preview. I'm only joking. Only joking, Lawrence.
Cheers, Lauren.
Thanks very much. Have a nice night. Bye for now. So yes, those were the thoughts of Lawrence. And I think another important point is that a few minutes ago there was a comment saying Joelinton is done at the club. Where do you stand on that, Sam?
Yeah, he is. He is. I thought he was a bit hit and miss today, but more sort of miss.
More miss, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try to like Joelinton. I used to like Joelinton, but the more and more he plays, it's kind of he's not fulfilling his potential, and
he's a championship player, isn't he?
Possibly, yes, possibly. I didn't used to think that. I used to think there was some potential, and he could kick on, which hasn't really happened. But similar to Cher, because Joelinton started the season really well. I thought that Bournemouth game he was absolutely superb, and he had a couple of good performances, and then Villa he weren't great away, and then Norwich at home it was terrible because he couldn't cross. It's not looking good. I mean, I'm fully expecting him to leave at the end of the season because Manquillo 4-year deal, Kraft is getting a chance, and I still expect that we're going to be, in the market for a new right-sided defender.
Interesting. So yes, who have we got coming on next?
Okay, let's see. We have Callum.
Hello, Callum. One of our regulars. Hello. So, what do you make of the game today in terms of that dominating first half performance, and yet it all just seemed to crumble wrongly in the second half?
I haven't seen a game again. I'm really, really sorry. When it comes to the last two games, I'm going to not get able. I'm really sorry, guys.
Oh, it's okay. But what do you make of Matty not starting? Where do you think his future stands at the club because he hasn't started again today?
I felt sorry for him. But I think we can give him probably the last game. I'll give him Brighton. Just give him a head start, just in case. He's not good. If he's not good enough, he might move. That's what I'm guessing.
And with the injury list, it's not getting any smaller. And as we saw there from that comment, when Jonathan saw Kraft and Cher in the lineup, he felt worried. Was it the same for you?
Yeah, it is too much. The injuries of our squad. We definitely need some new players once the new transfer reopen.
And so 2 games to go, nothing to play for now because safety's already been confirmed.
Yes.
Top half just seems that little too far out of the way now. Where do you think we can finish?
I'd say 14. That's our guess.
Really? So you think we'll slip below?
I believe it's slip
where we are
below because you think the team below it might be tricky though. I think Southampton maybe game in hand. I think that's my close stepdad saying. I just can't remember.
Yeah, even though Liverpool's already won the title, that next home game will prove to be incredibly difficult. Yeah. Well done. Yes, well done, Liverpool indeed. But we'll end with, what are your predictions for the game against Brighton?
I said 2-1 win.
2-1 win. So you never know, that might guarantee us 13th, let alone slip down to 14th if that happens. But yes, thank you very much, Callum, for coming on again, and have a nice night.
Same to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So, Callum, I guess now it's on the bright side, it is a bit of a stress-free end to the season. We're not getting the heebie-jeebies every time we go into a game. But who would you like to see play in the remaining games just to be given some sort of a chance, Sam? Because now is the opportunity. Yeah, well, yeah, Matty. But now is the opportunity to do it because of the injury list. Carroll's injured. ASM seemed to have pulled his hamstring right at the end of the game today. Defenders, Lascelles, lots and lots of spaces that are opening up here in that starting 11 for the final 2 games of the season. Who do you want to be given a bit of a gamble, shall we say?
I think the obvious answer is Tom Allen, because we know everything there is to know about Carroll, Gale. I mean, we more or less know everything there is about Joelinton now, unfortunately. Tom Allen's the obvious one. I mean, I don't know why he's not been chucked on before now, because Bruce isn't even using all of his substitutions. I mean, you've got 5 for a reason. You can't moan. The games are coming thick and fast and everyone's knackered and you're not using your subs. And when you do use them, you use them far too late. So yeah, Tom Allen's obviously the obvious one. He's looked good, obviously, for the under-23s, and looked sharp when he came on in the FA Cup against... was it Oxford or Rochdale?
It was Rochdale. He picked up the assist for Joelinton's goal in that game.
Correct. So, yeah, it's got to be Tom Allen. I'm disappointed he hasn't had a chance, especially at Watford. I mean, I was kind of surprised by Bruce making that change, bringing Lazaro on so early. I was impressed. And straight away, bang, Lazaro in the thick of it, causing mayhem and then leading to the equaliser. I mean, he doesn't make another change until he brings off Gale and replaces him with Joelinton with 20 minutes to go, which you say is not long enough, but I think that's plenty long enough. And our threat up top completely dissipated. I mean, Gale was doing well holding the ball up against the likes of Alderweireld. Joelinton couldn't, but hey-ho, nothing I can do now.
Was Gale holding the ball up? Were you watching a different game than me?
Nope.
Okay.
Gale held the ball up perfectly well. Go back and watch that first half. Gale held the ball up and laid it off lovely to Shelvey, who sprayed it out wide to Yedlin. So, considering Gale's one of the smallest on the pitch,
I would watch that first half back if I had 45 minutes to spare, but sadly I don't. Tonight's going to be a bit of a long one. But who have we got coming up next? So we are about halfway through now, and we have about half an hour remaining. So if you want to try and get involved, we will try and get you on between now and before around 9:05. We'll go on until.
Yeah, so now we've got Lulu coming on, and then we'll have Daniel, followed by James, who I fear is going to say something controversial again. But let's bring on Lulu now.
Evening, gents. How are we?
Hello, Lulu. Boom, bang, a bang.
Yeah,
I bet you get that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm
Apologies.
I'm probably the most southern Geordie ever. But
Where are you from?
I'm in Kent, southeast London.
Yes, very nice place of part of the world that is Kent. We've got Owen from Bournemouth, and he's south.
Can I just point out, Rob, you're being slated in the comments, and not everyone's saying that I'm right about Gale holding the ball up. But continue.
Yeah. Okay, I will.
Yes.
But Lulu, your thoughts on tonight's game?
I think Bentaleb done his best impression of a mannequin tonight. I think he's. I mean, you're saying about Matty Longstaff. I mean, how much are we paying for Bentaleb's wages? We could have given that to Matty Longstaff. So you've got Shelby, one of the best passers in the game, but you need someone to run around and do all the donkey work closing down. And Matty Longstaff is perfect for that. I just don't understand it.
Now, God forbid, of course, if in the summer transfer window, you were told that it is inevitable that we will be buying Nabil Bentaleb, what is your price tag? What price tag would you put him on it?
I don't think you could. I mean, put it this way: if Bentaleb and Joelinton were on a trial base at Newcastle, you wouldn't take them because they don't do anything. Joelinton, Benitez didn't want Joelinton in January, and because they looked at him as a striker, and then it's not until we bought him for £40 million, stuck him up front, and then Steve Bruce is like, "Oh, sorry, he's not a striker; he's a left winger." So you've got to sort of look at the scouting and the manager to say, well, we're buying these players, but they're not right for our team. They're not the players we need to progress.
To be fair to Bruce, I think the deal was already done and dusted by the time Bruce came in. I think it's more the recruitment. You like to Steve Nixon, head of recruitment, that you need to be looking at. And obviously, they've been scouting him for ages because, like you say, Rafa didn't want him, and we can all now see why.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Steve Bruce as a manager, I mean, I think he's been incredibly lucky this season. I think as a manager, he's brilliant. He's good at motivating players and getting the best out of them, but tactically, he's very inept. I think this is probably the first time today that I've actually seen him make a positive change with more than 10 minutes to go. He brought Lazaro on and he made an instant impact. Was he playing Yedlin at right wing? I mean, he can't do it. He's got pace. He can't defend. He can't attack, but we still play him. I don't get it.
Whereabouts can you give us examples of Bruce's tactical ineptitude?
Well, put it this way, he was playing Almiron obviously on the wings during the start of the season when we all knew as fans, we must have been pulling our hair out watching him because we all knew he was a number 10 when he came from Atlanta. Again, Joelinton, he's not a striker. Gal is probably the best in terms of in the box strikers we've got. So you might as well play him because Joelinton doesn't know where the box is. You could show him and he wouldn't know where to go. This isn't a criticism on Saint-Maximin, but I just feel, given in the team that and how we play, I just feel like he has to drop so deep to receive the ball, and then when he gets the ball, he has to try and beat everyone to create a chance. He just doesn't seem to have any options. He can't receive the ball in the final third where he needs to be. He has to come drop deep like he did today, and it just doesn't. Like you guys say, it's easy to nullify him because he's so far deep. He can't make a positive impact.
Now, do you think that Saint-Maximin will stay as a Newcastle player for next season?
I think it all depends on the takeover, really. I think a lot of our players, I really highly rate Hayden. I think Hayden has been our best player this season because he's massively overlooked, underrated. He sits in that midfield. He wins the ball. He distributes the ball to Shelby, and a lot of our attacks have come from Hayden. I can see us losing Hayden and Saint-Maximin if we don't get this takeover.
Yeah, it's certainly. It might give Matty Longstaff an open door to waltz through if Hayden does leave. God forbid, though. But with 2 games left of the season, where do you think we will end up now that we've got very little to play for except for pride?
Well, I think Brighton, they do offer a better attacking threat than we do, and I think given the fact that we haven't got any centre halves, we've got Fernandes. Like Sam said, he's on his last legs this season. He needs a well-deserved rest. Lascelles, I don't know how many games he's out for, much longer. But Shah, I've given up on Shah. I really, really do. We all know he doesn't play well as part of a centre back pairing. He was good under Benitez as a free, because he could move forward and he had a lot more freedom. But as a back four in that centre back pairing, I don't think we need him. I think we definitely need an upgrade on Fabian Schär, 100%.
Interesting. And finally, your prediction for the game against Brighton.
I think it'll either be a 2-1 win to Brighton or a 1-1 draw.
Interesting. Oh, so we'll not be able to keep up not be able to get our first win in the top flight at Brighton. But yeah, Lulu, thank you for coming on. Those interesting thoughts about Fabian Schär, and have a nice night.
Thanks, James. Have a good one.
And yourself.
Top man. Cheers.
Yes, so sort of Lulu there, Fabian Schär seems to be grabbing the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Is it too soon to judge?
1 year
even
left
though
on his contract.
Yeah, do you cash in now, or do you wait in hope that he might be able to turn it around next season?
The way he's playing, he'd slot in seamlessly in the back line of Arsenal. Imagine him and David Luiz playing together. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Players go through troughs of bad form every now and again. Look, he was immense last season. The switching formation is one of them players that wouldn't have done him any favours. I'm not actually against playing the five at the back, but it's just the way that you do it. You can still play half decent football playing five at the back, like for instance the comeback against Everton last season. A couple of games towards the back end of last season, we played some nice stuff playing five at the back, but just not like how we lined up in the FA Cup against Man City.
Even though
oh,
sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying it's a tricky one with Schär because, as I say, 1 year left on his contract. Now's the time to either cash in or offer him an extension. I mean, the way it's going, especially with competition for places in our centre back area, something's got to give. One or two will probably be leaving this summer, and it's not going to be Lascelles, and it's not going to be Fernandez, who's extended his contract. It's not going to be Dummett. So it's going to be Clark, Lejeune, or Schär. So who do you sell? Who do you keep?
I'll ask you that.
I would. Let's move on.
Let's keep that conversational thread dangling, and we'll latch onto it as we bring our next guest in.
Yeah, we're going to bring on Daniel now, followed by James, and then Rich, who's waiting now as well. But here is Daniel on the Fan Reaction Show.
Hello, Daniel. How are you?
All right.
It's good to have you on the show. Now we'll just we left that conversational thread dangling. Fabian Schär, where do you stand on him? And also, well, not exactly where do you stand on him. What are your opinions of Fabian Schär?
Well, he wasn't good in midfield, but today he was brighter. But really, he led Costway a goal, really. But I mean, if he's injured, what do we do? If he's not injured for a long term, might have to stick him back in since we've got no centre backs.
Certainly. But even though he has had a poor season, he's still been good value for money, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
£3 million or thereabouts.
Yeah. I mean, if we'll get all the defenders fit for next season, Kieran Clark, Lejeune, Lascelles, Dummett, we've got to let some of them go, such as Shaw. It just depends really who plays the best.
And you're definite on letting Schär go in the summer.
If he can prove his worth, I'd say give him another chance. But if he's poor, then just cash in on him. May as well. But as you see, with what do we do with that money? Probably goes straight into Mike Ashley's pocket, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't get reinvested. A lot of the pending transfers, I think, are certainly takeover pending. And that was a very interesting comment there by Life Goals just now. He reckons that Freddie Woodman, who's on loan at Swansea, is better than Dubravka. Daniel, what do you make of that?
He's a decent keeper, Freddie Woodman. I'm surprised we haven't put him on the bench ahead of Caldalo, because Darlow's aging now, but I mean, still, I'm still baffled that he was put in net against Man City. I was just completely baffled as to why he was putting that over the Bravka, but that's all in the past. But I mean, we could give him a chance, but say we've got 4 goalkeepers now, haven't we? Just signed that new lad.
Plenty of goalkeepers. I believe Rob Elliott will be leaving at the end of the summer if he hasn't already. But how do you feel about Dubravka having to sacrifice that number 1 spot?
It just wouldn't be right, would it? Because you don't know what could happen. Because Dubravka has arguably been our best keeper in a while, since Tim Krul, probably.
Yeah, I think since Shay Given, I think I'd be able to stretch that further. But yes, Matty Longstaff. I think Given was better than Krul. But yes, Matty Longstaff. Will he stay or will he go?
Well, I'd like him to stay, but I don't think there's even been an offer on the table. I think it's just, there's already an offer in for him, and Bruce is just trying to stall it. That's my personal opinion.
Interesting. And what we'll finish off with your prediction against Brighton away. Not the best of places for us to go to. It's a long way down there. But what do you think your prediction is?
Well, they played Man City. They actually got a goal. So,
They still got thrashed against Man City.
Yeah, but they proved they can do something against Man City. We just gave up, really. So I'd say probably a scrappy 1-0 win.
Scrappy 1-0 win. I'll tell you what, I'd take that. But Daniel, thank you very much for joining us, and hope you have a nice night. It's been great having you on.
Cheers, Daniel.
Yeah, thoughts of Daniel there. And, Brighton even conceded a Raheem Sterling goal that came off his, top of his back, was it? It was, I can't remember now, but something like that.
He didn't do anything about it, did he?
Yeah, well, no, I think the point was Brighton's defence just crumbled like paper and water. Rafa got a tune out of Cher. Bruce is the issue. Interesting, because I think a lot of players have managed to play their best football under Steve Bruce, but Rafa just couldn't quite get the best out of. So, Sam, do you think Bruce is the problem in terms of Fabian Cher's poor season?
I don't know. He seems a popular figure. I mean, the people you speak to, they've all said that he's a top bloke and great to work for and great to work with. And I don't know. I just think the formation, as I've said, it doesn't suit him now. Don't get me wrong, he had a good start to the season. Cher had a great start to the season. It was still more of the same. I just think it might just be a dip in form, to be honest. All players have them. Hopefully, he can get back on track next season. I probably wouldn't sell him because he does bring that X factor. I mean, how many centre-halves do you know that can score a 30-yard screamer? They're quite handy to keep in your back pocket. But don't get me wrong, he's in horrendous form, and if more defenders were fit, he wouldn't be on the pitch.
I'll tell you what, he needs to sort it out, but if he was able to sort out his lockdown hair, which he has done, I think he's made a good job of that. If he was able to do that with his lockdown hair, then surely he's able to do that out on the pitch. But who have we got coming up next, Sam?
Controversy is afoot, I feel, because this next one always splits opinion. Yeah, he always splits opinion in the comments. Me and Kyle disagreed heavily with him on Saturday when he was on, but let's bring him in now. Hello, James.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. I don't sound like I've got a cold, but what do you make of that terrible result tonight?
Well, I mean, first things first, I think I've got to go in on the players. Fabian Shaw. You might as well call him.
Go for it. Don't look back.
You might as well call him Fabian Taylor. To be honest with you, he's the Swiss Stephen Taylor, in my opinion. I mean, what was he doing for that first goal? I mean, honestly, Like, even just booted out. Like, even if you're under pressure, just booted out. What are you trying to take an extra touch for? Do you know what I mean? It's just, and he's done this. It's again, and this is not just Shaw as well. This is just what's annoying me. Individual mistakes have cost us again, and this happened under Rafa as well. We've played well in games, but defensive mistakes have cost us, and especially against the big 6 teams. Like, at times, we've played really well, but at the end of it, we've ended up losing the game because of individual defensive mistakes. I mean, again, for that second goal, Shaw and Kraft, where was the communication? I mean, that was absolutely awful from Kraft. I mean, why is he not picking up Harry Kane? And where is the communication in the back line there? I mean, look what happens as soon as Lazaro comes on. I mean, fair play to Richie, because I've criticised him, but I don't think he's played that bad. I don't think he played that bad today, and he took his goal really well.
I thought he played well. Never mind, not that bad. He played well.
Yeah, no, I agree he played well. Up there with Saint-Maximin and Shelby in particular, who was fantastic, spraying the long balls to Gale and that, who hit the post and that. But anyway, yeah. So what I was saying is, look at the difference. Look at the difference Lazaro makes when we take Joelinton off, who also, I've got a goal on him as well. Absolute disgrace. Definitely get rid of him in the summer. I'll pay for his flight to America if he wants, just to get rid of him. So yeah. So look at the difference as soon as Lazaro comes on. Yeah, provides us with a little bit of energy. Bang, we're back in the game. And then again, individual mistakes of cost were again, and we went for it. Saint-Maximin trying his best. I feel so sorry for him. He must think, what am I doing here with these absolute clowns around us? I mean, and then you're 2-1 down, and you bring on another clown in Joelinton, who has got the worst first touch I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't think he can actually control a ball to save his life. Never mind hold the ball up as well, which is what he is meant to do. I mean, you could just. There's just so many players. I mean, to be honest with you, I would scrap the whole team apart from 6 players. Right? Hear me out.
I'll hear you out.
Yeah. Saint-Maximin. I mean, obviously, you'd be an idiot to get rid of him. Obviously.
Well, you've just said you'd scrap the whole team. You've got rid of him.
Yeah, apart from 6 players, I would. Yeah. They're not good enough. So we've got Hayden, Saint-Maximin, Shelby, Almiron, Lascelles. Who was the other? Dubravka. Those are the 6 I would keep. The rest.
Whoa! You didn't like Dubravka on Saturday. Should have been making more of an effort to save them penalties.
Yeah, but you can still criticise a player, but at the same time, you can still. It doesn't mean he's terrible. Like, I don't think Dubravka's terrible. I criticised him because I think he should have saved the penalties, in my opinion. But I didn't turn around and go, "Oh, he's trash. We need to get rid of him." No, I still think he's a really good keeper, but he does have mistakes in him. But he's not a bad keeper at all. I rate him.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
A couple of minutes ago, there was a comment on screen asking, "Does Bruce's tactics and formations fill you with confidence?" And I think I'll ask you that question.
No, I mean, no, definitely not. I mean, to be fair to him, I did feel bad for him for the stick he got in the summer. Obviously, when he came in, do I think it was the right choice? No, absolutely not. But to be fair to him, he has done well in, like, especially around November, December time. But now, coming towards the end of the season, I think he's been exposed, in my opinion. Like one of the other guys that just been on earlier said, he's a good motivator, but when it comes to tactics, he's non-existent, really. And in my opinion, if the takeover does happen, he's done well, and I appreciate the job that he's done for keeping us up, because you never know that if we had another manager in, we might have, you never know, we could have might have got relegated, but he's managed to keep us up and put us in a good position if we do get taken over. But I don't think he's the guy to take us to the next level. So if the takeover does happen, which I'm still confident it is going to happen, I would get rid of him and either bring Pochettino or Mourinho in.
Well, when
I
you
have a question
that...
for James. Sorry to interrupt. I have a pressing question for James. If you're confident about the takeover still going through, how come you wrote a letter to the Premier League this week?
Yeah, good question. Basically, what happened was on Monday, it was just one of those days where I felt like, there was what came through. I think it was like midday, and there was no news, and I was like, this is just taking the mick now. This is like our 15th week, and we've heard absolutely nothing. So I thought, right, enough's enough. Even though, don't get me wrong, I went into writing that email and I did not think I was going to get a response at all. I didn't think that, honestly. But I thought, let's just try and do something, and let's just send the email to him just to let him know how me and other Newcastle fans are really feeling. Now, I got a lot of criticism for it. I'm a mentally strong guy, so I can take it. I mean, fair enough. People are saying that, if the government are ignoring it, why they're going to listen to some random person on Twitter, which I agree with totally. But I just think we've got to try and do something now. Like, not just me.
I'm sorry, James. Some technical difficulties there. I really wish I could hear you out. With hearing some crackles.
Can you hear me now?
You can hear you.
I think there's no more signs of life there.
Can you hear us? Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I can hear you fine. Rob has got the technical issues.
It must be me. Must be me. Sorry.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, I just wanted to try and do something. I never expected it to get a response from them, which I haven't so far, and I won't expect to get a response from them at all. But I just thought, let's at least try and do something at least, and it's just that's what I thought. Try and do something. Like, for example, if every other fan did what I did, we got like 10,000 people or something like that to do that, and put pressure on them. You might force the hand to do something, come out and give us some clarity, and we just need clarity. I mean, we've got 12 days till the transfer window starts. Who is the owner going to be at the minute? Because we are in limbo. Because if Ashley stays, he ain't going to spend anything. We've just come out of a pandemic. He clearly wants to sell the club now. Yeah. And he ain't going to spend a bean. I mean, if he stays, we'll probably sign Danny Rose on a permanent if we're lucky, and that'll be it. And Maximin will probably leave, along with some of the other decent players that we've got, and we'll be going down next season. But hopefully, without being negative, that ain't going to be the case, and it does go through. But, it is starting, but a decision needs to be made soon.
I can't believe you've spoken for that long, and then you end it without being negative. But thank you, James. Thank you very much for your thoughts. It's been very interesting, and we've got time for one more guest on, probably one, maybe two more.
No. We're gonna have two more. We're gonna have two more. We're gonna have Rich, and then we're gonna finish with 40.
Rich and 40. Yes, we have about 6 minutes left before our hour is up. So
let's bring in Rich.
Rich coming in. Hello, Rich.
Bye.
Now, James said there that Bruce has been found out from today or recently. But when you look at our last few games, since that win over Bournemouth, we've had games against West Ham, Man City, Watford and Tottenham. 3 of those 4 teams, except for Man City, of course, have got pretty much everything still to play for, whereas our safety was secured after the Bournemouth win. So where do you stand on Bruce's tactics, and do you think he has been found out in these past few weeks?
I think injuries haven't helped. Obviously, changing the formation to back to the 5 or 3 at the back, wing backs, and playing 4-3-2-1, which is the best formation that we have our best football in. As I said, Bruce is a good manager. He's a good man manager. He gets arms around players like Shelby, Miggy, give them the encouragements they need. Tactics, he can leave it a bit late when it comes to things. As I say, injuries and forced his hand a bit. Obviously, playing Kraft at centre back is not ideal. As I said, we have got some youth team players. Last couple of games might have worth playing, but obviously playing against teams that have got relegation fights or at least trying to fight for Europe. Obviously, some of our players look like they've already packed their flip-flops and gone on holiday.
Very, very true. I guess it's only natural every team goes through these sort of periods. But what do you make of Bruce's handling of the Matty Longstaff situation?
It's difficult, and he's making all the right noises to say that he's had words with him and he's hoping that he wants him to sign and that, but there's got to be something not quite right. If it's right what they're saying in the papers, like 30-35 grand a week. Obviously, Colback got paid 45 for sitting at home, and he's off the player that what Matty is. But there's got to be something not quite right. They were quickly to sign Sean up to a decent contract, but they seem to be dragging their feet with Matty.
Interesting. And speaking of the Brighton game, what are your predictions for that match?
I think if he plays a front three plays Gale up top and have Miggy, ASM and Lazaro behind him, I think we'll comfortably beat him like 3-1, 3-0.
Yeah, I guess it's very much a case that you never know what you have.
Sorry, Sam.
I guess it's the case. I guess it's the case of you never know which Newcastle side is going to turn up. You never know what Brighton side is going to turn up. Two teams pretty much safe now at Brighton, but very inconsistent. But Rich, thank you very much for coming on tonight. It's been great to have you on.
No, not a problem, boys. And keep up the good work.
Thanks very much.
Pal.
Bye now.
Cheers.
Excellent. I like that comment. Sorry?
Rob, how many games afterwards have we been sat saying, I'd like to see Lazaro start behind the striker with ASM and Miggy? How many games now? Pretty much everyone since lockdown, since the restart.
Yeah.
He changed the game today, but, still not being picked like Matty, but what can you do?
Yeah, and just to bring Fordy in, I like the comment that said there, even, Klopp, when you've got DeAndre Yedlin in your team, you can't expect Klopp to turn Yedlin into Cafu. But yes, we have Fordy, friend of the channel. So how are you doing, Fordy?
I mean, I've kind of calmed down now after the final whistle. It wasn't one to really get proper irate about. It wasn't a Manchester City pasting, so we still lost nonetheless. But you just got to kind of question some of the decisions. Yes, you could say, we haven't got Kieran Clark, Lascelles, Lejeune, but stuff like that. But what's he doing for the first goal? Like, I don't know where he's going with that. Like, what does he think he is? A ball playing defender? What does he think he's Van Dijk or something? Kraft again, quite out of no man's land. I'm sure you've probably gone through all of these already, but just assessing the goals, like we do it to ourselves. It wasn't like a Spurs masterclass, was it? Let's face it. Like we pretty much gifted a lot of the goals to them, and with our defending, I mean, even with the selection process, like we're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah, interesting. And you said questioning some of the decisions. I presume you're referring to tactical decisions.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Kraft playing, people might say he had a decent game, but I still question why he gets selected. I think we were playing with 9 men most of the time. Benslev and Yedlin were still releasing their inner Spurs. They were playing that.
Don't get started on Benslev again.
I know. And I said I didn't want to see him in a black and white shirt. He turned up today in a black and white shirt, and he played like he was playing for the other team. Yedlin, sorry, he's got to go. The one thing he has got is pace, but he's still not using it effectively. We say the same things over and over again. Do you know what I mean? Johnny, man, come on.
Mike from London.
Yeah. I'm happy. I wish.
No, of course, yeah. It wasn't a popular decision, I bet, to play Kraft in centre-back. But does Bruce have any other choice, considering the injuries that we've got?
No, that's exactly what I said. Just, you know, the fact that you've got your captain out, you've got Clark out, Lejeune.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, who else can you put in there? Do you know what I mean?
We just go with a flat back four, and you don't play him centre back. You can stick Mankia or Yedlin or even Ritchie left back in a flat back four. You don't have to put Kraft in at centre back. You could have stuck with the 4-2-3-1.
But who are you putting again? Who are you putting alongside Fernandes? Because if you put Cher, you see what Cher's like in a flat back four. You see Kraft what he's like.
Yeah, before the game, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing, but before the game, you would have said you would have had to have put Cher in alongside Fernandes.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, the way he's performing right now, he's not playing like he's playing for us. I don't know where his mind's at. I don't know where his mind's at, where he was trying to dribble through 15 different people. He probably saw Saint-Maximin do it and say, oh, I fancy a bit of that. But just do the basics. That's what we need to do. And you know what? Half the time, I think I wish we was playing to fight against relegation, because we'd play with some fight. I know we're all safe and sound. That's the main thing. But when we play with our backs against the walls, against the bigger teams, we actually play with something. Whereas today, it's like, oh, you know what? Forget it. We're safe. Doesn't matter. And then the Matty Longstaff situation, like you guys covered the last guy, like, doesn't matter really. Like, we've still got this Bentaleb geezer here. He's still got to do something. And Lazaro, don't get me started with Lazaro. Like, I want to see what he's like playing a full 90 minutes in his preferred position. Not right wing back against Arsenal, getting pounded on, or 20 minutes in the last 20 minutes. I want to see him full 90, as you said, Sam, with, you know, ASM one side, Miggy the other side, supporting whoever, most probably Gale, and then just like, let's see us go at it, hammer and tong. Because I don't think we was prepared to have that much possession early on. We don't do that, especially against big teams. Have that much possession. Yeah, it's crazy.
Battered them. I think we were very unlucky tonight. I mean, it was very harsh, the scoreline. I don't think it was, like you say earlier, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as previous defeats and that second half collapse at Watford. But the thing is, when are things going to change? And and another thing, the spine of the team or the core of the team inside that dressing room is still the same core that was in the Championship 3 years ago. You know, your Lascelles, your Shelvey, Hayden, Matt Ritchie, Gale. You know, at some point you're going to have to develop and evolve, which it's just not. It's stagnating. And all right, you bring in some nice flair players with like Iggy and Miggy and ASM, who was the best player on the pitch tonight by far. But if you're not getting quality,
why you say it? Just remind me. Shout out to Owen, who says Miggy is the best outfield player Newcastle have. Come on now. Even Spurs fans were saying ASM. Sorry, I'm sorry, not having that, Owen. Owen, if you're watching, sorry. No.
But or do you say Spurs fans? And I presume you're including yourself in that.
No, I'm not, Rob.
No, he's Arsenal.
No. But Buddy, thank you very much for coming on. I guess this is the only time that you get to use your green screen, so it's been great having you on. As usual, you're a great character, you're a great guy, and I hope you have a good night.
Cheers, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Cheers, Fordy.
So that wraps up our fan reaction show. It's been a frustrating one. Not an angry. We're not angry. We're just disappointed, really, at that result. And of course, if you want to get involved next time on the fan reaction show against Brighton in 5 days' time, that is on Monday, I believe. Then yes, we will be operating as usual. Fan reaction followed by scoring the players, followed by opposition fan reaction if applicable. I nearly forgot that there. And then, of course, Lee engineering the last word. So shout out to everyone. Thank you to everyone who has been on the show tonight. Much appreciated. Look forward to seeing you again soon. And goodbye for now.